Earlier with the ribbing and the hazing that you went through, how long do you think it actually took for you to get the respect of the top talents? How many months into the company?
Respect is a tough word. You know, respect is earned, and respect also comes from whatever's going on within you.
Right.
Respect for my work is a different story. I think once they saw, like Hunter said, that I could go out there, get a reaction from the crowd, which would in turn give my opponent a favorable reaction, and then make all of my opponent's offense look like it was killing me, and sometimes it was, I didn't give a shit. That's when, if nothing else, and again, it's ego, I don't know if they respected me, but I could probably get over working with Stryker. Hey, buddy, you know what I mean? Fuck you.
You got to work with Eugene, Nick Densmore.
Yes.
You enjoyed that, you said?
Oh, my gosh. He was so awesome. Because it was at a time where no one was my friend. No one wanted to do anything with me. And a lot of times I'd hear guys say, if I was going to work with a guy, you should stiff him. Why don't you punch him in the face, whatever. And I'd be, fuck. All right. You know what I mean? Okay. And Eugene was the first thing he said to me, like, listen, I know you got some heat, but I'm just here to work. I just want to make the best, most entertaining thing we can. And once he said that, okay.
How crazy were you going at? Because you talked about having anxiety and depression, and you know, it just sounds like, because I could relate, you had to be going nuts when you're on the road with all the heat and...
I would overthink everything I did. It almost held me back. I wouldn't do things in matches because I thought I might get in trouble for it. And then, you know what I get in trouble for? Not doing them. Be more aggressive, damn it. Well, if I'm more aggressive, the guys may think... And I used to sit in my own locker room, and I'd read my Bible. It's what I did. It's just what I think. And I remember one day I went into my little cubby hole, and there were two bags next to mine. And it was Sandman and Sabu. I said, oh, guys, no, the locker room's always... No, fuck that. We're dressing with you. Nothing wrong with you. Wow, that's fucking so cool. So anytime I would get my anxieties or my depressions, it would be the Sandmans, the Sabus, the Rob Van Dams, the Tommy Dreamers, the William Regals, the Eugenes, and even the John Cenas and the Canes, that when no one was around, hey man, you okay? Hang in there, man. Everything will be okay. And I would go back and I would go to my faith, and I never had the heart to tell my dad what was going on. I wish that I could, because he would have given me such great advice, but I was embarrassed. I didn't want him to know I was going through such a tough time, you know, but I fucked with my own head. I spent a lot of time staring out the window and talking to God, but...
You had mentioned John Cena. You got to work with John in July of 2006.
One of the strongest human beings on the face of the planet.
Memories of working with John Cena.
I went, John, we had the match, and I told him again, now I'm complete opposite. These are things I'd like to do. I'd like to do this move. I'd like to do this move. I'd like to do this move. And John never got in the race. I'd say, okay, cool. He's like, listen, man, just get your promo in, and we'll talk about everything else in there. What I didn't realize was the heat that I was going to get was going to be with the promo, not with the moves to John Cena. The angle was to get over Cena and Edge. And I reverted back to what Tommy Dreamer taught me. Take an ass kicking. John fucking clotheslines my head off. John gives me the AA, and I swear I'm 6 feet in the air. And then he puts me in the STF or the STFU, whatever it's called these days, and my foot touches the back of my head. And I am tapping and pulling for real. And the people are going nuts because it's John. It could have been anyone in the hold. We walk to the back, and Vince stops and says, thank you very much. And I realized I was a cog in a machine that was far bigger. This was never about me. And I thanked John, whatever, and I think from there it was, damn, the kid does business. Fuck, he was there for everything. Good shit, didn't try to get his shit in, didn't complain. That's my Vince, by the way.
You mentioned earlier that the Undertaker was pretty much the locker room leader.
Yes.
Did you get along with him?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, because the interactions I had with him were always positive. You know, the Undertaker that I knew was fair. He would take what his soldiers would tell him and process that. And then when he got to know me, all right, cool. So I think later on, as I began to do what was right for business and be a good hand in the ring and so on and so forth, if nothing else, maybe Undertaker said all he ever wants is for people to respect the business. And if anyone respects the business, it's Matt. Am I over his house for dinner? No. But towards the end, and again, everything you see about him on TV is real. It gets cold in the room when the guy comes in. I mean, he's not a human being. It's fucking weird. And he really is the Godfather. So if he just, you're not going to get a, hey, buddy, you'll get a, and that's good enough for me. So I don't know if I got along with him. I don't know. I like him. I love you. You're great. You know, I mean, I watched Taker versus Edge. I went out in the crowd and I cried. I mean, so, I don't know. I don't know if he thinks about me ever.
John, how approachable was John Cena?
Cena and I got along based on baseball. Again, it goes back to baseball. Whatever city we were in, I'd pass John in the hall. If we were in Kansas City, I'd be like, hey, Steve Balboni. And he'd pop, he'd laugh. Right. It's an old-time Kansas City Royal. For me, John and I always got along. I also think because I never wanted anything from John Cena. Everyone wants something from the guy. There was a time in catering where we all eat where John was sitting by himself, which is a rarity. And I said, hey, man, you mind if I sit with you? He said, yeah. And I'm eating. I go, so, how's everything with you, man? He goes, you know something? No one ever asks me that. Everyone asks me how they can get over or what I can do for them. No one asks me how I'm doing. And that was the relationship we had. I was never a threat to John Cena. I made him laugh, and that's it. And everything you see about John Cena on TV, that's John. He's a good guy, man. That guy doesn't get a day off, and if he does, he's doing a Make-A-Wish.
It reminds me of Dreamer.
There's some differences.
All right.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, man, John is just... And the thing about John is, and Chris Benoit taught me this, the top guys are carrying around cash. They can't fit it all in their pockets. Some of it's going to fall. And what falls, you pick up. John Cena is carrying a load for this company. And if you're smart, you'll walk behind him and pick up what he drops. And that's it.